Get your situation together. I'm about to take y'all to West Virginia. We gonna shoot down 70 and shit about to get real weird. Shit about to get real wild and wonderful. You hear me? You come from wearing the same drawers, man. You about to have a ball. You hear me? You come from dude staying on the stall. You about to have a ball. I'm talking about, man. Fast honey. Faster money. You gonna pay for that milk, though. Yeah, 'cause it's the land of the milk and honey, but you gonna pay for that milk one slip up. One wrong conversation. You hear me? The wrong transaction, you out of here. Ain't no second chances. Ain't no second chances, you going up until they let your behind down. Yeah, but first thing first, let's make a stop in Willing. Off the top. I know you heard of it from the Greyhound to some people you be around. It's called the Willing Feeling. And if you was to catch this disease, because that's what it is, God bless you. May the force be with you. I hope you can see your way through it. Because you about to do it. You about to change. Yeah, the person you used to be, you're not about to be that person no more. You about to be who you imagined you was. Yeah, if you want to know what's imaginary characters, that's what you about to be. Buzz Lightyear. It's a Toy Story.
On the run after a murder on Wheeling Island this afternoon. It's our top story at 10. Thank you for joining us. I'm Rich Pierce.
And I'm Kate Davison. It happened on Delaware Street just after 4 o'clock. News 9's Anthony Kahn has been following the developments. He joins us now live with more. Anthony.
Well, Rich, Kate, it's quiet out here now, but this has now turned into a murder investigation as the victim of today's shooting has died after being shot multiple times here on Delaware Street.
I seen some guy laying on the ground by that fence, and the cops started coming everywhere.
Wheeling police responded to a shooting on Delaware Street Monday afternoon, finding a black man in his 20s shot and laying in the street. The call came in around 4:15.
On arrival, officers located a male with several life-threatening gunshot wounds to his upper body.
The man, identified Monday night as 25-year-old Joseph Edward Harrison of Cleveland, was taken to the hospital and later died. Meanwhile, police began looking for the man responsible.
We're reviewing several surveillance cameras in the area. The suspect that we know of right now is a male, unknown race, in his 20s, wearing a black t-shirt. We believe he ran west on Delaware Street towards the state of Ohio. Delaware Street was closed off between South York and South Huron Streets as the investigation continued. An alarming sight for some residents I spoke with.
I was scary because I didn't expect it, because I go to that gas station almost every day, you know, and I don't know, it could have been me, you know.
There are no other reported injuries or incidents related to the shooting. The motive is not clear, but police say the public should not fear for their safety.
We believe this is an isolated incident. The public should not be in any danger from this incident.
And if you have any information, please contact Wheeling Police or our anonymous Crime Busters tip line. That number, 1-800-862-BUST. Live in Wheeling, Anthony Kahn, News 9 at 10 on Fox 9.
We back. It's Gucci. Y'all know I'm gonna need y'all to put y'all seatbelt on. We're gonna be discussing the murder of Joseph, Joe, player like Harrison. You understand? And I want to pose the question. When is it two-player? You see, because Joe met this woman, this young lady, that he found attractive. And off the top, he wouldn't know that she has a boyfriend. Because her boyfriend wasn't around, she giving him play. But in some course down the line, boyfriend moves to town too. Somehow, they end up in this common place. So I can't say if there was any woofing, any riffraff between the two prior to them meeting at Burger King. But what I do know is that Joe used to go to Burger King every morning, get a small fry and a cheeseburger, and chop it up with her, because she also worked there. And on this particular afternoon, they would bump heads. And they would bump heads in the worst way.
Well, Rich Cade, one man has been taken to the hospital with multiple gunshot wounds. They say he was shot here in the chest on Delaware Street on Wheeling Island. This happened at 4:16 this afternoon. Police say the victim, a black male in his 20s, was lying on the road unresponsive. He was taken to the hospital and his condition is still not known at this time. Meanwhile, police are looking for the person responsible.
We're reviewing several surveillance cameras in the area. The suspect that we know of right now is a male, unknown race, in his 20s, wearing a black t-shirt. We believe he ran west on Delaware Street towards the state of Ohio.
Wheeling police say that this is the first shooting here of the year. Delaware Street is blocked off from South Huron to South York Street, rather. Now, if you have any information, you're asked to call Wheeling Police or our anonymous Crime Busters tip line. That number, 1-800-862-BUST. Live in Wheeling, Anthony Kahn, News 9 at 6.
Now, there's little to be known about Danny Mendoza due to the fact that he was only in town 6 months or less, give or take. But what I can say is that he was of Hispanic descent, small in stature, 22 years of age, and clearly kept it on him. Now, my sources who was working at Burger King at the time will go on to say that there was very little interaction between Danny and Joe while they was in Burger King. But the atmosphere changed when Maya arrived at work with her boyfriend and Joe was there.
A woman charged in connection to a murder case was in court in Ohio County this morning. News 9's Jamie Baker was there. She has the story you'll only see on 9.
Maya Lane Platter was arrested and charged with accessory to murder after the fact in the homicide on Wheeling Island this past August. Thursday morning, Lane Platter was in Ohio County Magistrate Court as part of a preliminary hearing. She is facing charges of harboring Danny Mendoza, who is accused of shooting and killing Joseph Harrison on August 19th. According to an investigation, Mendoza was the father of Lane Platter's 2 children. Lane Platter was an employee of the Burger King on Zane Street and was working at the time of the shooting. Shortly after the shooting, Lane Platter told her boss she needed to leave work to deal with a problem at home. She was found in Maryland along with Mendoza 2 days later and arrested. The prosecution believes Lane Platter is easily linked to her charge.
The evidence is clear that she abruptly left work 45 minutes after Joseph Harrison's gunned down on the sidewalk on the island. She's asking for a ride, saying, I really need a favor. They leave town 12 hours after the homicide. She's pinging in Fort Washington, Maryland on her phone with the defendant.
But the defense argued that the prosecution couldn't prove that Lane Platter was the person who got Mendoza to Maryland and harbored him from police.
They have to establish probable cause that she knowingly harbored, concealed, maintained, or assisted, or gave aid to Mr. Mendoza, knowing of a felony. There's absolutely no evidence.
In the end, Magistrate Joe Roxby found enough evidence and bound the case over to the grand jury. And that next grand jury session will be held in January. In our Wheeling newsroom, I'm Jamie Baker for News 9.
They say Joe will go on and get his food, so will Danny, and they will both end up at the pop machine getting drinks, where Danny will utter something. They say it wasn't loud enough for them to hear, but they know it was something from the way Joe reacted. Although Joe didn't react aggressively, they said Joe looked over his shoulder with the fuck he on look. And not minutes after Joe left, he would be shot dead. Maya will get a phone call not long after that and will leave work in a panic if this will result to her getting arrested for accessory after the fact. her phone would get pinged 12 hours later in Fort Washington, Maryland. And she would be arrested right along with Daddy, not 48 hours later. Cause in the hood, you gotta know when to hold them, when to fold them. You gotta respect boundaries. Regardless of what these women are doing or allowing you to do. Protect yourself and see a bad situation for a bad situation and let it go. I want to send condolences to Joe family. Sorry for your loss. Send condolences to Daddy's kids. Sorry for your loss. Let's take these stories and see what we can learn from them and maneuver around them. For any young niggas on their way to willing, been to willing, on their way back to willing, keep your head up. Stay focused. It's Gucci from Columbus. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And lock in.
So miss me with that flexing, just to see how they face look. Wouldn't follow me on Twitter like a post on Facebook. Bitches wouldn't consider when I choked on Facebook, but in person I'm hurt. She think it's a hoax on Facebook. Yeah, I joke on